Games with gold? More like games are gone. This message from Phil Spencer has Sony sweating. We got another Xbox update to talk about, and did we just see a leak of the Xbox Handheld? Just a reminder, if you take a look down at the description below, I have links for all sorts of Xbox gear. I've been talking a lot about the ultimate wired Xbox controller by 8-Bit Do. That's down there as well. You can buy it through Best Buy. If you want to get in on this new generation of Xbox cloud gaming, I also have some links for some Samsung TVs that support the Xbox Game Pass app that they're coming out with. Let's discuss. What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Xbox Ready. This video is going to be very similar to my other videos where I scour the internet for the juiciest, the coolest stories that I think you should know about if you're an Xbox fan. First up, we have to bid farewell to Xbox 360 games being a part of Xbox Live Games with Gold. I just said Xbox a whole ton of times. But the bottom line is, on October 1st, Xbox Games with Gold is going to stop giving away Xbox 360 games as part of their monthly offerings. This is something we knew was going to happen for a while now. They announced it a few weeks back. Why are they doing this? Well, simply because they just ran out of Xbox 360 games to give as part of this program. We knew that they were running out of backwards compatible titles because when they did their whole 20th anniversary showcase, they were saying, hey, we're making one big update to our backwards compatibility library, and that's it. We're not doing any more. So it seems that Xbox and Microsoft has reached the limit of what they can give away in terms of 360 games as part of Xbox Live Games with Gold. And yes, it is kind of a bummer, but we've seen the writing on the walls for this to happen for some time, like I said. But now that Xbox is focusing more and more on Game Pass versus Xbox Live and Xbox Live Gold, this is something that we've sort of seen coming. The last 360 game to be given away as part of Games with Gold is Portal 2, and that's a pretty solid title to go out on. Obviously, Portal, an iconic series, super fun game, and if you're able to, just download it because, as a reminder, any 360 game that you download as part of Games with Gold, you get to keep forever, even after your subscription is over. Portal 2, again, very solid title to go out on. Over the past year, even the past couple of months, the 360 games that they were offering with Games with Gold were not so great, not as great as they used to be. A lot of people have said, hey, they're probably eventually gonna do away with Xbox Live Gold entirely. I don't know how that's gonna look like. I wonder if they'll do something similar to Sony, where they have 3 tiers to Game Pass. One just gives you access to online play and like a couple of other Game Pass benefits. Middle tier would be just Game Pass as we know it, and then the top tier would be Game Pass Ultimate. We had a good run of Xbox 360 games over the years being offered with Games with Gold, but it's time to say goodbye, time to put it to rest. Next up, let's talk about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. So as you all probably know, Microsoft announced its intentions back in January to acquire publisher Activision Blizzard. And that was probably the craziest news day so far this year for Xbox. I remember waking up and everyone was hitting me up on Twitter, oh Ray, what are your takes on this? What do you think about this acquisition? What's going on? And I was like, ugh, like barely waking up, not even there. Couldn't even like process what was going on. But Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is not official yet. It has to be reviewed by all sorts of regulatory boards around the world. And that process seems to be heating up a little bit. So I've talked to you guys about some juicy details that have come out as part of Brazil's review of this deal. Recently, the UK's regulatory board came out and said, we want a more thorough investigation, a second investigation of this Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Specifically, we're worried that Microsoft is going to make Call of Duty either exclusive to Xbox or put it all on Game Pass, and that's going to influence consumers to buy Xboxes over PlayStation. And if you're a Sony fan, if you're one of those people that's in my comments or in my DMs saying that Xbox sucks, PlayStation dominates them, Xbox has no games, PlayStation has all the games in the world, you kind of have to reckon with a hard truth here. Because on one end, people are telling me Xbox has no games. And then on the other end, people are saying, Xbox, if they get Call of Duty, they're gonna destroy PlayStation, basically. So which one is true? Seemingly in response to this, Phil Spencer wrote up a little thing and posted it on the Microsoft website blog. First of all, he stated very clearly, and this is something that we were sort of assuming was gonna happen anyway, but he stated very clearly that if this acquisition goes through, he intends to put the entire Activision Blizzard library on Xbox Game Pass, including Call of Duty, Diablo, and Overwatch. The overall gist was that he was saying, hey, mobile gaming is the fastest growing gaming market right now. And we want to kind of get into that by making Xbox games accessible for people with just phones. They don't have to buy an Xbox. They can access whatever game that they want that comes out from Xbox Game Studios on their mobile device, on their laptop, wherever. He was really emphasizing the Play Anywhere initiative that Microsoft has really been drumming up over the past couple of years. He says, "We are expanding choice in two ways, through the creation of Game Pass, which gives players a subscription option, and by bringing more games to mobile platforms, including through our cloud game streaming technology. Subscription services like Game Pass make gaming more affordable and help players from all over the world find their next favorite game." There are a couple of things that excite me about the direction where Xbox is going. One of them being cloud gaming. You don't need a console to play Xbox games. And the other is just the sheer amount of games I have access to when it comes to Game Pass. That would have blown my mind when I was a kid and I was only able to buy like 1 or 2 games a year. And of course Sony is mad over on their end, because that goes against the philosophy that they've been rocking with over the past couple of generations. If you want to play a PlayStation game, a new PlayStation game, tough luck, you have to have a PlayStation console. And then of course, eventually a couple of years later, they bring those games to PC. But the bottom line is Sony, they go out of their way to make you buy a PlayStation console in order to play their games. Whereas Phil Spencer, in his vision, how he intends it to be, is that, hey, if you want to play an Xbox game, no problem if you don't have an Xbox console. You can play it on your PC. You could play it on your laptop, streaming it directly to there, no download required. And overall, this is something that I knew that they were going to try to go in the direction in, but everyone was calling me crazy. They were like, what? No, that's stupid. Mobile gaming is stupid. Microsoft would never do that. The idea is, okay, what can we do to get more people to play our games? Because that's the real end game here. What can we do to sell games and get people to subscribe to our service, which is Game Pass? But overall, I'm a fan of this. I hope this Activision Blizzard deal comes through. I think Sony has a good thing going on their end. I respect what they're doing. I don't always agree with what they're doing, but I respect it. I don't want them to change. Well, some things I want them to change. Either way, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to see how this deal shakes out between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. Sometime in 2023 is when we should get a definite answer on whether or not this deal goes through. Speaking of Game Pass, let's talk about the Callisto Protocol for a sec. For those of you who do not know, the Callisto Protocol is an upcoming survival horror game, much like Dead Space. And the connection to Dead Space is obviously a lot deeper than just surface level, because one of the guys who co-created Dead Space is also working on this game. And everything that we've seen about it so far, guys, it looks scary, it looks creepy, it is gory as heck. They showed off an extended look at the gameplay first off at Summer Games Fest. They've released a couple more since then, but I remember watching that with Jimmy and being like, yo, that looks crazy. Like when the guy falls into the fan and is like getting crushed, I was like, holy, what is this? What is going on? But when the developers were asked whether or not their game was going to be coming to Game Pass, they were kind of like, they weren't sold on the idea. They were kind of iffy about it. They specified, you play through once in the Callisto Protocol. I think those services are built towards some of the open world style and repetitive multiplayer games. I think games like that survive well on that service. So this says to me, not that developers hate Game Pass or Game Pass is killing developers or the video game industry or whatever. That's something I've talked about in the past, and I just don't think that's true. It seems to me that Microsoft offered these guys a deal where the payout was somehow affected by the total hours played. Again, I don't know the specific details of how each developer gets paid when their games are on Game Pass. For people I spoke to in the industry, it is different for each case, because obviously there are a lot of single player games on the service right now. For example, Hellblade, that's on there. It's not multiplayer, it's not open world, very linear, but Microsoft owns Ninja Theory, the studio behind that game. The guys behind Callisto Protocol said, Microsoft has their own single player games within the service, and I still think you're going to see the platform holder studios provide single player games in them. I'm just saying that as a financial model, it's a difficult one to make work as an independent studio. I think you're going to see single player games, but it will probably come from hardware companies. While that might be tough to hear, it's fine, guys. Like, I don't know. Not every game has to come to Game Pass in order for me to enjoy it. For example, Cult of the Lamb just came out on Xbox not too long ago. It seems like the perfect game for Game Pass, but it wasn't on there. But I happily paid the $25 and I really enjoyed the game, played it all the way through, had a great time. Not every game has to come to Game Pass, but it's nice to have the option when it is there. If they really wanted, they could have like bid an insane amount of money and they would have been like, okay, bet, let's put Callisto Protocol on Game Pass. But Microsoft just didn't. I'm of the belief if Xbox really wanted the Callisto Protocol on Game Pass, it would have made it on there. So as of right now, the Xbox app on my phone is kind of so. Like, there are some things I appreciate about it, like being able to use it as a remote for my Xbox when I don't want to use a controller. Really like that feature. Pretty cool. Not bad, but that's something that we've been able to do since the Xbox One generation. Every now and then though, I'm kind of like, the Xbox app, it just needs a little bit more love. As of right now, Xbox is testing out a new feature that improves the search algorithm in your app. It's only available for beta testers right now, but this is something that is long overdue. And for me personally, I haven't had as much of a problem with that. The problem I have is searching for literally my friends in the Xbox app. I'll type in their gamer tag word for word and they're like, I don't know what to tell you, man. That person doesn't exist. I'm like, yes, they do. I see them on my console. They're online right now. What's going on? As part of this beta build, Xbox put out a little update containing what they're gonna do, what they're gonna test, what they're trying to improve, and they said, game search improvements, exclamation point. They're very excited for this. We heard you, and we've been improving the algorithm that powers game searches. Because like I said, the Xbox app, there are some things I really like about it, but there are some things, tiny things that prevent me from wholeheartedly recommending it. Moving on, keeping with the theme of mobile gaming, handheld gaming, images of Logitech's handheld cloud streaming device have apparently leaked. They leaked for a hot sec, and then Logitech was like, whoa, you gotta take this down. And the internet was like, okay, cool, man, chill, man. Don't take it too far, man. Just cool, man, just be cool. These images were first leaked by a guy named Evan Bless on Twitter, but if you go to them now, it just says media not displayed. He got hit with a DMCA. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about up until this point, Logitech has teamed up with Tencent Games to make a handheld device that looks very, very similar to the Nintendo Switch. Here's the catch though. You know how on your Nintendo Switch, you can download a game or insert a game cartridge and play the game either off of your storage or off the cartridge. You know, pretty simple concept, right? But Logitech was like, okay, what if we made a Switch, but cut all that stuff out that people like and just made it so where you have to play games online and stream them. When they first introduced the idea, when they first announced the idea, they were like, yes, this is geared towards gaming streaming platforms like xCloud or Xbox Cloud Gaming, Stadia, Nvidia Now, all those guys. Which in a weird way would make it like the first handheld Xbox outside of the Steam Deck, of course. But from the jump, I have not been super high on this idea. I don't know, like it's just, like what is the difference between this device, which just looks like a Switch, and my phone, honestly? It's just a phone, like a big screen with a controller that has to be connected to the internet if I want to play games. It has two bumpers, two triggers, kind of like asymmetrical Joy-Con looking things, and then just a standard D-pad. And some of the images that we saw before they got taken down, it looked like maybe there might be a micro SD slot. For what reason, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe for local saves versus, saving games on the cloud. I'm not really sure. But the fact that Logitech moved so quickly to take them down from this guy's account, Evan Bless's account, suggests that they're probably the real deal. Again, I really don't know how well this is gonna do. This is just something that, I don't know, I feel like it's not what people wanted when we were like, we want an Xbox handheld, let's go. Anyway, it seems like the release of the Logitech G gaming handheld is still a ways off. Hey, maybe I'll be proven wrong. I don't know, maybe I'll get my hands on one of these and be like, whoa, this is awesome. This is the future of gaming.